I'm going to tell you something that most travel content won't touch, but it needs to be said. Right now, while the world obsesses over other Asian destinations, Malaysia is facing pressure that would break most nations. Economic threats, geopolitical chess games, and powerful countries trying to force into corners it doesn't want to be in. But here's what absolutely shocked me during my recent trip. Instead of crumbling, instead of choosing sides in a world that demands you pick Team A or Team B, Malaysia is doing something that's leaving global powers frustrated and frankly a bit panicked. This country is writing its own playbook, and what I witnessed on the ground tells a story that the headlines are completely missing. The so-called terrifying threat isn't what you think. It's not about military invasion or economic collapse. The real threat to Malaysia is the pressure to abandon what makes it special. Its carefully cultivated neutrality, its bridge-building diplomacy, its refusal to be anyone's puppet. I watched this play out in real time when I spoke to business owners in Kuala Lumpur who are navigating sanctions, trade restrictions, and political pressure from both Western powers and Eastern giants. One tech entrepreneur told me bluntly, they want us to choose, but choosing means losing half our friends, half our markets, half our future. So we're choosing Malaysia instead. That defiance, wrapped in politeness and strategic patience, is what's really causing panic in certain capitals. What I saw in Penang's industrial zones opened my eyes to Malaysia's quiet genius. While other countries are being forced to decouple from China or distance themselves from the West, Malaysia's factories are humming with investment from both sides. American semiconductor companies, Chinese tech giants, European manufacturers, they're all here, often on the same industrial park. A factory manager explained it to me simply. We're not playing favorites. We're playing smart. Everyone needs us to stay neutral because everyone needs a place where East and West can still do business. Malaysia isn't panicking. Malaysia is positioning itself as the indispensable middle ground in a fracturing world. The geopolitical chess game gets even more interesting when you look at Malaysia's diplomatic moves. I sat in a Kapitium in Putrajaya listening to a foreign policy analyst explain how Malaysia maintains relationships that shouldn't theoretically coexist. Strong ties with China, security cooperation with the U.S., close bond with Middle Eastern nations, and leadership roles in ASEAN. We learn from our history, he said, stirring his kopi. Being colonized teaches you that depending on any single power is dangerous. So we depend on our principles instead: sovereignty, non-interference, mutual respect. While other nations are being bullied into compliance, Malaysia is calmly reminding everyone that it bows to no one. The economic pressure is real, though, and I'd be lying if I said Malaysia isn't feeling it. Global inflation, supply chain disruptions, currency fluctuations, these are hitting hard. But here's what the doomsday headlines miss. Malaysia's economy is incredibly diversified. I visited palm oil plantations in Sabah, tech startups in Cyberjaya, Islamic finance centers in KL, tourism operations in Langkawi, and manufacturing hubs in Johor. No single sector dominates. No single trade partner holds all the cards. This diversity, built deliberately over decades, is Malaysia's shield against the economic weapons that terrify other nations. You can't easily sanction a country that doesn't need you more than you need it. What really struck me was the unity I witnessed in the face of external pressure. Malaysia's ethnic and religious diversity could be a vulnerability, and hostile powers have certainly tried to exploit it. But instead, I saw something remarkable: Malays, Chinese, Indians, and indigenous communities closing ranks around national interests. At a roundtable discussion in Georgetown, a Chinese businessman, a Malay academic, and an Indian entrepreneur all said variations of the same thing. We might argue about domestic policies, but when outsiders try to push us around, we're Malaysian first. That social cohesion, often underestimated by foreign analysts, is proving to be Malaysia's secret weapon. The technological battlefield is where things get really fascinating. Malaysia is caught between America's tech restrictions and China's digital Silk Road, between Western cybersecurity demands and Eastern connectivity offers. Instead of paralysis, I found innovation. Malaysian tech companies are developing solutions that work with both ecosystems, creating interoperable systems that don't force customers to choose sides. A cybersecurity expert in Kuala Lumpur told me, We're building Malaysia's digital sovereignty, not to shut anyone out, but so we're never dependent on anyone shutting us out. While world powers unleash threats about technology bans and access restrictions, Malaysia is quietly ensuring it has options. The South China Sea issue adds another layer of complexity that would terrify most nations. Malaysia has overlapping claims with China, a superpower that's built military installations and ignored international law. Yet somehow, Malaysia manages to assert its sovereignty, conducting oil and gas operations in disputed waters, maintaining military presence on its features, while keeping diplomatic channels open with Beijing. I met with maritime security analysts who explained the delicate dance. We don't back down, but we don't escalate. We're firm on our rights, but flexible on methods. It's exhausting, but it's working. That diplomatic tightrope walk, performed daily, would crack most governments. Malaysia makes it look almost routine. Here's what the panic headlines fundamentally misunderstand. Malaysia isn't naive about global threats. It's just playing a longer, smarter game than most people realize. The country survived colonialism, racial tensions, economic crises, and regional conflicts by being strategic, patient, and adaptable. The current wave of geopolitical pressure, it's just the latest challenge. Every Malaysian I spoke with, from government officials to street vendors, expressed the same quiet confidence. We've seen worse. We'll navigate this too. That's not arrogance. That's the resilience of a nation that's been underestimated before and proved the doubters wrong every single time. This is a new channel dedicated to uncovering the real stories behind the headlines, especially the ones about Malaysia that the world needs to understand better. If this perspective on Malaysia's geopolitical reality opened your eyes to what's really happening, please hit that like button and subscribe. Your support helps us continue investigating and sharing the deeper truths about Malaysia's journey in these complicated times. Drop a comment with your thoughts on Malaysia's strategy. Do you think neutrality is strength or vulnerability in today's world? Let's have a real conversation about this, because Malaysia's approach might just be a model for other nations caught in the same impossible position. There's so much more to this story, and we're just getting started uncovering it together